tradition. It's a very, very deep meaning.
千葉田のやつ、伊藤一等祭ね。二個神天然。
The origin of the school, of course, from a famous warrior called Ito Itosai who created the school.
これがね、海馬のとこ行ってんだよ。海馬周辺。これ海馬本当にね、これ元海岸で一番いなかった人。
Kanboshi is one of the very famous people that could hold that kind of scroll on very high level class. He was also involved into the Japanese restoration as a warrior who could shift into politics, and he's still keeping practice. You need to know that most of the people in the politics at that time had at least a high class level on classical martial arts.
Okay. でこれね、うまく入れていくよ。Okay. これはね。秋山義信流ってね、技術で有名な絵巻物ね、これおそらくないと思うんだ。これ一本で大きなうち2、3軒経っちゃうんだよ。
So just the value of this is enough to basically build 3 houses.
So from a school very famous of
これね、本当開けないの。開けるとこれポロポロ落ちちゃうんでね。
You cannot open all because it's very
delicate.
ずっと
秋山流柔術。
秋山義信流。ね、ずっと開けていいよ。ずっと伸ばして。でよく見なさいみんな。そのまま。これも火ついてる。また見せるね。これ終わったらね。これよくみんな見てね。はい。で順番に前来て。
Beginning of Edo period.
Writing on Kanbu Nakayama School is one of the primary school of Jiu-Jitsu after Takenouchi Ryu.
So it's one.
Who cares? Here, Sensei have again, Okushinito Ryu again. He doesn't have only one, he have many. Actually, Bokuden Ryu, he have many. So it's alright, it's an ocean of scroll. It's impossible to swim.
これ江戸時代ナンバーワンだったね。道場を持ってた人ね。
So this one here.
Yes, Chiba Chusaku, the one, the Soke of the school, Okushinito Ryu, was one of the first men who have a dojo with many people. According to some record, he had at least 300, 400 students, and he was very famous. He's the first one, for example, who used Shinai and things like that. His dojo was in Chiba, I mean, before it was destroyed, of course. And the sensei have the original. So actually we knew that he wrote original, he gave to some students, but the actual Soke doesn't have those original. Sensei have also original from the Itoryu, and the actual Soke doesn't have it. So when I met them, I said, well, I'm looking for them, I'm ready to pay a lot. When I said, it's Hatsumi Sensei, I said, no. Okushinitoの総計とイトリの総計の小野派ね、付き合った時やっぱり先生の大事なものがあるというものを私は言いました。本当に私は欲しいけどさ、でも八味先生も取ればそれでいいですっていうことを言いました。Of course, they would like to pay, but no way.
Let's don't tell them where it is.
This is Heiho. Heiho, people translate this by strategy, but it's a little bit too much.
だからこれ北斗七星だからね、七葉家っていうのがあるのね。で西岸の構えは星の構えになってる。北斗七星って名乗ってんだから、西岸の構えも星の西岸の構えと星の見る目ね。それの西岸の構えということになって七葉剣っていうのがね、北斗七星の七葉の剣っていうのがあって、これの名前で。全部代々のね。
This is kind of the beginning of Makimono, the beginning of judo.
Yes, Kano Sensei have learned, everyone knows, Kano Sensei learned the school called Kitoryu, and from Kitoryu and Tenshin Shinryu he created the Kodokan Judo, and this is one of the primary, as you can see, look the quality of the paper, how it is.
Just smell it, that's enough.
これも僕伝流の秘伝手鏡ですね。
This is very famous things. It's actually the writing from Bokuden and the way he explained, for example, the attitude of the warrior and everything. The way of writing is incredible. So you have many articles that explain the attitude of the warrior in daily life. And Bokuden was really famous in Japan. Really famous.
日本に来てもね、こういうの見せるとこがないんだよ。
no place to show these types of things in Japan. You come to Japan, there's no place to view these things or to, you know, to experience them.
こういう無人館みたいなストリップ劇場がねえんだよ。
There's no strip stage like at the Bujinkan to show these things.
みんな秘密だなっつってね。
Because everybody's hiding it. They're not showing their selves. They're not open enough.
これがね、小泉伊勢の神の巻物ね。
Since they remembers these things, I guess he's, you know, obviously he's familiarized himself with what he's got.
永禄9年。
Eiroku-kyunen, very old, Eiroku-kyunen. It's a 1560. It's the writing from Kamizumi or Koizumi.
420年前、30年ぐらい、30年前だな。
So about 430 years ago.
So this is a primary scroll of Japan. Primary master who wrote scroll about classical martial art, Kamizumi or Koizumi Senokami. It's the founder of Shinkageryu. And obviously, sensei have the free Kagemokuroku. That hurts.
だからこれがやっぱり日本の剣道とかね、両方の原点になってるわけね。
So this is you know the origin of kendo, Japanese kendo. This Shinkageryu, right?
Yes, Shinkageryu.
字がすごいでしょ。
The characters are beautiful, right?
ね、神尾文字みたいね。これが日取り大師とかね、方角見たりするわけね、戦う時のね。だからこれも文頭とかね、古道とか小手色だとかこれみんなやってるわけね。
So here, of course, you have an example of.
これが天文地文ね。
Different terrain, you say terrain.
Yes, and how to know when to fight, what time, be able to see the flag according to the position of the flag, how the wind goes, if it's going to rain or not, what is the best moment to fight, because they used to have a very deep belief to when you do a war, it has to be a good day. After that, they used to cut the head of the general and bring it to the other, and they need to watch and read how the blood spell, and they said, that was a good war.
Welcome, Kacem Zoughari, professor and a remarkable explorer of the inner world of what is fire, what is life, what is water, what it means to be a warrior, with whom to fight, and so on. I'm grateful to Christian Leiber for allowing this happening, and also tonight you will have a conference on the transmission of martial arts on Spirit Harvard University. What a day for me! Thank you. We've started the talking before this recording, and it was extraordinary. And I will start from a small detail. You offer me this soft way of sitting, and you are sitting now with no chair in Seiza, and you said that life is painful, and then about the difficult and the path. Please.
Well, first, let me rephrase. I'm not really a professor. I'm just a researcher, right?
Just, yeah.
Yes, just a researcher, because I hope to not finish the research. So,
and you are hoping not to become a professor, so in a way.
Well, you know, I think what is the most important, like always, the journey, not the destination, so not the goal. I'm more interested in the process. And here you just talk about the pain here, the process of the pain, the reason of the pain, and the meaning of the pain. I think all this is very important. Any kind of discipline around the world, any kind of culture, have something to teach, something to give that can allow the one who practice, the one who study, to understand through the pain and to be more open in order to understand and help the other. And that's what is a very important thing. So the thing is, of course, in Japan, it's a culture of soul where a lot of people I mean, it's changed, of course, but people sit a lot on the ground.
You are living in Japan now?
Yeah, I'm living in Japan since 5 years now.
5 years. You are very fluent in Japanese, I saw.
Well, I'm working on. We never completely fluent.
About the fluence, the flow
yes,
of
because
life.
when we said we're fluent, most of the time there is an end. You know, in the word you're fluent means you know how to talk. I think we keep on learning. The flow never ends up. So it's the same as the research, same as everything. There is no end.
Okay, sorry, I interrupt you about sitting in Japan.
So yes, the culture of the soul, the culture of in Japan, to sit in seiza, and seiza just the kanji. You can read in two ways. It can be Shizuka ni suwaru, which means to sit quietly, peacefully, or tadashiku suwaru, sit correctly. So it doesn't give any image. You know, for us, foreigner, when we saw for the first time people in Japan who came in Japan for the first time at the beginning of the 18th century, or even before when the Portuguese and the Spanish went in the 15th century, they saw Japanese sitting on the ground. So when they translate the word seiza, they didn't understand if it was to sit correctly or to sit quietly. They're kneeling, so this is a kneeling position, which actually, yes, it is a kneeling position, but you can sit like that, have your knee like this, have your knee like this. It's still a kneeling position, but not really correctly, not really peacefully or quietly. You need to sit in a certain way where you can talk to someone without have too many pain. You need also to sit in a certain way where your heart can feel in peace, can feel a certain quietness for reading, for study, or for just listen people around you.
But you are sitting in pure seiza now, and we'll sit like this from 1 hour. From a certain moment, you will start to feel some difficulty in your legs.
I'm already feeling the difficulty.
Okay, so
yes,
as in life.
Yes, as in life. So you need to become friend with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, from what moment you will be masochistic in order to keep the position, and from what point to renounce and to say, okay, I have to change now?
I will see. That's the situation.
Yes.
You know,
you cannot predict.
I mean, there is a lot of things we cannot predict.
Okay.
And it's good like this. That's why life is interesting, isn't it? So I think, yeah, of course, the pain is there, but we're talking. We enjoy the moment. So the pain, you forget a little bit. Then after, when you finish to enjoy the moment, pain is there, and you have to pay the bills. So the body said, you see what you make me doing? So now here it is. But, you know, if you train yourself to sit a long time like that, each day, each minute, it's always a centimeter that you win against yourself. So you're better to what you just was before.
To win against yourself?
Yes.
What's the real meaning of against? Somebody can tell, against what? Against my nature? Against, you see?
No, not against my nature. I mean, first, well, it's the same for like any kind of discipline. When you aim to know yourself, you have first to accept who you are. You can't fight something you don't know. You need to study it. So first, you study it, and you know yourself. You know your bad habits. You know, for example, your anger, your appetite, and everything like that. So now you try to moderate. You know, you try to ponderate. You try to measure this, and step by step, you go against what, for example, doesn't allow you to be more open, doesn't allow you to learn more, to become more human. So that's the idea. By against, don't think it's automatically opposite, it's strong. You can be against in a very gentle way. You can be against in a very smart way. You can be against in a very flexible way. Like you can be against in a stiff way, stupid way, etc., etc. Against is not completely negative. Even in against, you have again too. So it can be very interesting in that way. Again.
Yes, I like you said could contemplate. So
yes.
Con and temple.
Yes, yes.
You are playing. No, you are not playing with the words.
I'm using the word. Yes, I'm using the meaning of the words. Because in Japan, I'm in contact with a man, with a master who is a lot like that. He loves to use the kanji, Japanese character. I mean, they are Chinese first, and then of course modifying through the history, and he's very, very good for that. So of course you need to know a lot about literature. You need to study with your body. You need to have a lot of experience, practical experience, based on life experience. And those characters give you something. And if, for example, you're aware of that, because they are based on a certain practice, then it talks to your heart. It talks to your body. So yes, sometimes using the word in order just to, for example, open a kind of awareness can be very interesting.
Please, Christian, do you wish to, last time you meet Kacem was in 2007?
No, that was the first time.
The first time, oh, the first time.
First time,
okay.
2007. And then we started I started to look for his seminars, and it was a very important meeting for me in my life, I think. I started practicing martial arts long time ago, and long time before 2007, and I already have met a lot of high-level practitioners in Europe, but most of the times what I felt inside the practice lack of something, and I went to his seminar in Slovenia because I read some of his articles in the French magazines on martial arts, and
yes, Kacem writes a lot, published a lot in different, even in scientific publishing.
There is two things. There is, of course, what we call like regular, like martial art magazine, yes. And of course there is Scholar University, yes. What I'm doing. But before that, what I was involving into Japanese studies, license, master, and PhD, I was also writing things into like martial art magazine, and I always took very important for me to give enough information, historical information, things like that. So I wrote a few things on many different ryuha that we translated incorrectly by school, and different styles, and which was good because the magazine were read in many different countries. And this is how, like in Romania.
So what do you think are the main achievements of Kacem Zoughari?
Of course, now he's a very well-known writer and scholar and researcher. He already had some books published. I can present you the last one. It's called
the Ninja Ancient Shadow Warriors.
Yes, of Japan. Of Japan, yes.
The Secret History of Ninjutsu.
Yes, it's published by a famous publishing house in Japan. And of course, I didn't know about this book. I just knew about the French book, Ninjutsu, l'ombre de la lumière, Nimpo. This is the first book, which was published
I think some years ago.
Yes,
I think it was 2003, I guess, and this is by Turtle. It's an American company that published this.
Yes.
Yes. So based on the first book, and just some magazines. Of course, then Kacem was not a PhD at that time.
I was working on my PhD.
Yes, he was working for that. He was in Japan in that time. I tried to search for him in Paris when I was there for continuing my practice, and I couldn't find him. I find out that he was in France for study on Japanese studies. So when I find out that he came back in 2007, it was my first opportunity to meet you in Slovenia. So that moment, I had an answer with just by body practice, not by words. An answer to all what was lacking into my practice. And that's what really changed my life, starting with this year.
So some experienced answers. So
yes, we are not really talking too much about that seminar. It was a lot of people at that seminar, so we didn't know each other very well. You cannot talk too much with a stranger, with a person that you just know. But also the practice was enough for me to understand that he has a rich amount of knowledge that he can offer. And also I think the articles were written with something more. It was a lot of soul put inside the article, and in the book too, and in the practice too. And I think this was the missing link.
The soul.
The soul, yes. And the heart of the practice.
Liveness of...
That's a little bit too much.
Yeah, yes. That's why I'm
talking
really
about
grateful.
you as you are already a statue or something.
No. Well, first, no. I mean, I think I like what I'm doing, and like anyone who like what he's doing, you need to put something in, and plus there is a question of meaning in anything.
The question of meaning.
Question of
yes,
meaning.
I was asking you about meaning and direction and progression and regression in life. Those are the basic questions, existential questions.
Well, I don't have the answer, which is good. And
fortunately.
Yeah, of course. I think questioning is very interesting, and I think questioning, to keep always a spirit of questioning, and this is questioning is practice. Well, I think if I can help in a certain moment of the time of someone, and I'm very happy, and I think this is the goal, to help, helping people, no matter where they come from, no matter what the religion, no matter what they believe. Helping is very important. And by helping them, I help myself too. You know, it's a challenge too. Helping people is a challenge. So you have to practice, you have to study, you have to be wide, to be open, and to give enough. I don't think I have achieved anything actually. For me, achieve is the end. I don't like the word achieve, okay. Like I don't like roof and things like that. I like to keep on
the road.
Yes.
Helping people. I was asking you maybe to say a few words about the main mistakes of our European daily life, of mistakes conducting us to self-destruction, little by little, starting from small things. So, you know the life in Europe, of course. So, what do you think a viewer can improve his life with some small advices? So, for example, to keep the spine straight as you can is a kind of advice.
Well, it's not easy because there is a lot of cultural things. I mean, as a scholar of Japanese studies, of course, I practice martial art, and I come from a Muslim background. I went many times in North Africa, and I'm very attached to simple things. But I like also the modern world. I like to have access to media and things like that. I think first to find the balance. Balance is very complicated. I mean, when you look how the body is, even the body is not completely in balance. The way you are today is not like you was yesterday, and it won't be very different tomorrow. So to try to always find the balance, or to search for the balance, that's very important. For example, not only in the talk, but only in the way you stand, the way you listen. People first to learn to listen. Listening, it's an art. You need to learn how to listen, what to listen, when to listen. It's very important to know how to listen. To listen, it's also to create a kind of a window in your heart, to let the one who's talking to you to get inside. It's like saying thank you, saying merci. It's a way to open your heart and to show to your opponent, to the one you talk to, how you're grateful. And that's one thing. Being able to listen someone, it's also to listen yourself. And this is maybe one of the best advice, to study the most, everything you can.
Please, Kacem, can you give us an example of how you are listening yourself right now?
Well, I'm listening you.
Yes.
I'm listening your question, and I try also to be aware of the intention behind your words in order to answer them more appropriately.
The intention?
Yes, because not just the word, it's the intention behind the word which is the more interesting.
Okay, so let's come to the intention. Intention in Buddhism, it is essential.
You know what? Intention is essential in everything, not only in Buddhism.
Okay.
You have also this in Christianity, Judaism, Islam, any kind of spirituality, but even in martial art, intention, you know, it's very important.
Yes, I was connecting.
You know, in intention, there is also the word tension.
Intention.
And tension. Sometimes it goes together.
So
you create,
you have to create a tension in order to
there is attention, intention, and tension.
I was connected with the Budo because I see here subconsciously with the mudra.
Yeah, I mean, yes. This is an aspect of Mikyo.
May we?
We can open a little bit more.
And maybe
put it to the camera.
Yes.
What do we have here?
Alors here, it's writing in Japanese here. Kuji Dai Hiden. Alors means the secret transmission, or the great or big secret transmission of the Kuji. Kuji means the 9 letters or the 9 character that you can see here. They are signed you do with fingers by crossing or cutting the air, and you pray. Each pray, you have different kind of pray, which are here for like protection of the body, of the soul, of the health, of the family, against things from outside, danger, etc., etc. And this is, of course.
Can you show us a mudra?
Well, I'm not a specialist of this. Of course, I've studied this because, you know, I watch movie and things like that. You have things like this. You have complicated things like that some people used to do a lot, like this, tack, 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 and the finger that goes like this. You have many, and each one have a very important meaning.
Yeah.
Important meaning, and of course you need to understand the meaning and what you aim for behind this. So it is part of Mikyo, what we call the esoteric Buddhism, and Mikyo, so a secret teaching of Buddha. And you need a master. You need a master that introduces you to this. You need, of course, to be Buddhism. You need to take the oath, etc., etc. So it's very important things. Very important things.
And there are also some meridians involved in the
Yes. I mean, at the beginning, people who practice this doesn't know it. Like I said, you need a master. You need a master who have experiment, not only the effectiveness of this application through his own life, and it's for people, for yourself, but for people too. And you need to feel it through your body, because talking about meridian, weak point, massage, acupressing, if you didn't try on yourself first, if you don't know how your body works, how can you help someone else? You need to develop this kind of a self-observation inside you that you can apply to someone else. So of course, when you do all those kind of exercise and the flexibility that allow you, it's going to work on your tendon, and all the tendons are connected together in the body.
So the tendon,
meridian, nerve, tissues, all are part of the same organism.
Okay, you start with the tendons. I was thinking to I Ching Ching, on the art of prolonging the tendons, Shaolin techniques. It's difficult. I was talking with Christian in another program about what can we understand from the profound tradition, because it's not about prolonging the tendons, the anatomical tendons or something. It's something much more.
Yes, I mean, we need to name things anyway.
Yeah.
So tendon is a good start.
Yes.
Well, tendon can help for a lot of things, of course. As you know, they are those small things between the muscle and the bones that allow you, for example, to walk, to bend, to do things. They are very powerful. They work against, like certain muscle, they work also against the gravity in order your body stand. You know, there is muscle that works every day in order that the head stay like that the spine stay like this. They are very strong. We call this also the inner muscle. So the tendon can help you for a lot of things. Of course, you need to work to stretch them, but at the same time to reinforce them, because after all, when the muscle are gone, what still working, still here are the tendon. So they are very important. How can you work that? Just by sitting like this, or just by changing your position and sitting like this too, like they sit many times. You know, you have many ways. And then after, to know how to activate them for standing up without create any kind of unnecessary movement, unnecessary strength, unnecessary use of the muscle. All this are the study of the tendon, the study of the body. You can find this, of course, in certain movement of martial arts, certain way of praying, certain way of kneeling, bending, and then the way you walk, the way you take any kind of instrument, the way you eat, the way you drink, the way you hold tools. Yes.
Everything.
Everything. Look, when you're looking for a certain kind of perfection, or when, for example, you're looking for a certain kind of meaning, any kind of movement you do in daily life. It can be a prayer for a believer, or it can be just the work of someone who's a worker. In any kind of movement, anything, there is a sign. And a sign is a meaning, because sign needs meaning. It's a meaning and call for meaning. So in anything. So it can be for a lot of people, for outside view, something not interesting or useless. But for the one who's doing, is useful, meaningful. So you have to dig anything, even a talk, even a way to sit, even a way of watching TV, anything. But you have, of course, always to measure, to ponderate. You need to find always this between.
Yes, the little gesture and the way of moving. I know that in the Zen dojo they are recommending to do anything with patient and with both hands. So I will try to do this with offering you a book, a Romanian book, of course, from For You Publishing House, who is an important publishing house in Romania, translating very nice books such as this of Pam Grote. It's a bestseller from New York, and it's about energy. And we are loving to speak about energy. Can you make us understand better what means energy? Maybe even in a practical way, a small illustration with Christiane.
All right. I mean, as you know, there is a lot of kind of energy. What do you mean by energy? You mean ki, like the kanji of Aikido, ki, chi in Chinese. Yeah. You have a lot of discipline that deals with this, like Tai Chi Chuan, Qigong, or Kiko. Of course, classical martial art deal about this, like the tanden, and the way you're breathing, etc., etc.
Yes, and I saw some move with Chinese old guys who are pushing some objects without touching, and wow.
I mean, I won't go to that point. Maybe it exists, but I didn't saw it yet. For me, first, there is different kind of energy. First, there is you as an energy. Your muscle, the blood, the flow of the blood, the activity of the brain, intellectual things, all this, it's energy. Then this energy should not be wasted. And unfortunately, when you're young, you use a lot of things, you don't know how to use your body, and then when you grow step by step, you learn to be economic. And in the case of the classical martial art, but also all the Japanese discipline, you have this aspect of economy of movement that you can find, of course, like you said, in Zen, but also in Ikebana, in anything. It starts, for example, from the way you sit, the way you stand up, then the way you hold things. For example, if from a certain position like that, you sit like this, and you stand up in that way, you know, like that. Like you see all that kind of movement. This, for example, in the warrior world will never be allowed for many reasons, because you have the sword. If you move like this, you're going to lose a little bit your balance. So this is an opportunity for your opponent or your enemy to kill you, etc., etc. Then, according to your costume, according to your kimono, you need to move and to act let's say the perfect way. Here, for example, you're going to have to stand up in a way. For example, if I turn like that briskly, or I do any kind of movement, which means my intention goes before my movement, he's going to do something because he knows too, he's a warrior too, and he might read me. The idea, you need to move in a certain way that the movement, it's so natural that we don't understand what can happen. And you don't need to watch what you're going to do.
You cannot predict in a way.
Yes. You should not be predictable.
Yeah.
If you're not predictable, because you're not predictable, you can't read, you can catch. That's what ninjutsu, art of ninja, is about. So that's why for here, just being aware, for example, of everything there is, being able to move just by one thing. And easy, and very easy. You don't need to use strength. And you look, I have already one weapon. Then as you drop, you can catch another thing. But no, without showing. And always by talking to you. And this is really cool. Like this, there is no big movement. It's a little bit scary at the same time, but you do this with a smile. So it helps better. And that's another kind of energy. Because you can have energy in anger, you can have energy also in the smile.
beautiful.
And also in a way to stand up. Very light, and you control him. And you see, you don't bend the back, you do nothing. Nothing that can be read by him like a kind of aggression.
Yes, I feel it's a crazy movement. Crazy means we no predictable, not predictability.
Well,
so
it's crazy jutsu, you can call this like that.
Crazy. Yes.
There is no preparation.
No, there is no preparation. There is no preparation, but first you have to prepare yourself, and that's the difficulties. You have to study so deeply to go deeper, and for that you have to prepare yourself.
We are used to do the same thing, so to act, in fact, to react in the same ways.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So this means to be spontaneous, and we.
The problem of being spontaneous, it's how to be spontaneous. You have also to cultivate this kind of spontaneity in a way that it's impossible to read, impossible to see. There is part of who we are. For example, we're born most of the time a baby flexible. Then by growing, we lose the flexibility.
Yes.
So we need to try to refine that kind of innocence, that kind of flexibility through the practice.
Is it possible for everyone who is listening to you to grow his flexibility?
It is. It depends of the goal. It depends of what we want. Anyone can do it. It's just a matter of what.
Even if you have 50 years old.
Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. But, and I put a but, there is a condition.
Yes.
It's what for?
What for? What for?
Yes. What for?
What for?
Me, I do it because I like. So it's already good.
Okay. So in order to be healthy.
Well, yes, to be healthy, but then there is no limit. It's important to have no limit in the practice, in the study. Having goal is important. Question of the finality, where it ends up, etc. It's very important, but at the same time, those goals should be always in the long term. You need to understand that once you engage yourself through a path like it can be martial art, religion, or anything, it's better to see this through a long term. It's a long journey. That's why you have to cultivate patience for that.
Not short terms.
Short term, I'm not interested in short terms. Yes. Short term will come, things come shorter. Short is inside the bigger picture, I guess.
Please, Kacem, your long-term goals. Can you tell us some of your goals in order to learn from you? Because listening to you, I was thinking, what are my goals in life? And the viewers may ask, to make money, to have a house, to have good wife and kids, are those goals? Okay, you may answer, natural goals, of course, even those goals, but beyond then, but why beyond? You see, always the opposite thing, kind of perception.
And I will answer to you, why not?
Yes, yes. Difficult is the path.
Difficult is the path, yes. Difficult is the path, and the path is not difficult. It is logic that life is difficult. My goal.
Well, sorry for this personal question.
No, it's a good question. It's a good question. Well, it is said that God always realized the secret. God realized the secret. So I keep my goal secret, if you don't mind.
Yes. So if you keep your goal secret, this means you have an inside, and you keep the energy inside, something like that. In Romanian language, some folks are telling, you never tell your goals because you waste the energy of your goal.
I mean, that's a very good saying. I mean, we can say, yes. I think it's a very good saying. Not telling your goals, I think, because they are not really important. It's individual. That's one thing. Second, once you achieve the goals, maybe you don't really achieve them the way you wanted they are. So maybe they are not completely complete, which is good too, because like this push you to go more forward. And then when you reach what you think the goal was, you understand or you realize that that was not what you wanted, and you get frustrated, you get a little bit disappointed. So I think maybe not having goal as a goal would be the best answer. Of course, to be a little, to be better, to be better, to be wider, deeper.
Yes.
Wider and deeper at the same time. To be more open. To control more the anger, the patience, the envy. Yes.
You said, I was asking you before recording what to do with the angriness, and you said sit and drink.
Sit, drink a little bit of water. No. Sit is good, because by sitting you really, like I said, calm down. And the fact of sitting, you go down. You see, this aspect of going down, it's like inside yourself. You don't know what really happened, but everything goes down. So everything, by going down, get relaxed. And look at the people who pray, they go down. Look at the people who are tired, the people who are at the same time very humble, they go down. The fact of going down push you to understand or to study, or at the same time to realize and cultivate humbleness. By calming down, you become more humble. So when you sit, actually when you stand up, you're pretty much arrogant, pretty much cocky. When you sit, you get a little bit more humble. When you're kneeling, you're more humble. And if you're completely hungry, you're humble. So you more and more push your ego in a certain way to calm down. Calm down.
Remarkable. We are now kneeling, all of us. So the sitting...
And at the same time, we are on the same position. We are on the same level. No one is up. It's good. Because sometimes the positioning, what's your position, what's your rank? It's also a way to push the ego. I mean, I'm not against the rank, I'm not against the positioning. It's part of the, you know, some people have chance, some people are more chance, more gifted. It's life, it's like that. Some people succeed where others not. But what is important is to not close the door, to not forget. Yes, to not forget, because we easily forget.
What about being scared, about anguish, about fear?
It's part of human. It's part of the human mind. It's part of the human life. You have kids, you have parents. You're scared to lose them. You fear for your life. You fear for the life of the people you love. When you see something on TV that happened to people, it touches you, and you might maybe realize it can happen to you. So what can you do? You know, here again, you need to be more open, more open. More open. For that, you have to study, you have to practice, you have to go deep. Yes.
But with a master.
Well, master is important. Master, instructor, professor, teacher, you know, shower. You have different kind of words. You know, master is not completely someone like we can have in movies or tales or literature. The man who's going to follow you all your life, you know. Someone you can learn from children, you can learn from your enemy, you can learn from someone you hate, someone you love, someone you even don't know. You can even learn from the nature, you can learn from animals. And anyone is a master on itself. He can be a master for 1 second, for 1 hour, or for one life. So then after you have the master in the discipline you practice. And that's something else too. But a master cannot teach you all the bad things, you know. It might teach you only the right things. So you have also to be aware of what is not good to do.
The bad things.
Yes,
the bad things, master.
Yes, yes.
What's the definition of a bad thing?
Bad things.
Of course, this is connected with what is a good thing, but still.
Let's say that a bad thing is, you know that phrase, do to the people what you would like to receive or to have, and do not do what you don't. I mean, that will be something like connected with the bad things, because, you know, what is bad for me, for someone else, can be good. So it's very difficult to say. Let's say that there is mistakes. All right, and the mistakes is the way to have knowledge, because knowledge is born from the mistakes. As long as you don't hurt people deeply, humiliate them, hurt them deeply, you know, I think everything can be all right. Try to avoid everything can put your friends, family, people, even the people you hate, in a very, very humiliating or hurting position.
What about the limits? So the children can ask for chocolates, for example, 10 kilos of chocolate. And if you give it only one piece, they will be in a kind of frustration.
Yes.
So the limits and hurting people.
This is an art. Knowing the limit, it's an art. Teaching the limit, it's an art. Because you need to know your own limit first. You need also to know how to give, and to know how to give means to know how to receive.
Yes.
It's very complicated. The limits are different for some people. Some people need a certain kind of limit in order then after to push those limits. Some people need strong limits and see what's going to happen.
Yes.
So for that, it depends on the individual, and at the same time, how deep goes your heart? How deep is your heart too?
Yeah, yeah. When I remember about the question about your goals and the way you respond, you prefer not to speak about your goals. You have put a kind of limit. The limits are very important.
Yes, you need limit. You need limit. You need limit. Otherwise, by limit, let's say it's better like frontier. Things that you should not go deep. Or in a certain way, sometimes you need to know your extreme. You know, like this, it's the best way to know the balance. You're not completely balanced. We don't born balanced. We're born violent. We're born with envy. We're born with a lot of opposition and contradiction inside. This is who we are. And at the same time, we aim for peace. We love beauty. We love aesthetics. It is very complicated. That's why I said earlier that difficult is the path.
Difficult is
difficult is the path.
Each day,
every day, every hour, every minute.
We are on the path when we feel in the difficulty.
We are always, I mean, we are the path in a certain way. We are not on the path. We represent the path. We just forget it.
So when we are searching and looking there from another reality, so I think, okay, I will arrive there and then I will be on the path. After I will practice, I will be a good practitioner and so on. Those are only phantasm.
Well, you know, phantasm is not that bad. As long as, I mean, I'm not against if it pushes you to go more deep. I'm not against illusion if it pushes you to go deep. You know, you need dream, and then you grow, and then you have over dream, and then you grow.
And so on.
And so on. I mean, as long as you keep on practice, as long as you study, as long as you go deep, as long as you try to help the people you love, even the people you don't really like. I think.
You see, I see in you a happy person, even though the definition can be very fluid.
Or maybe I'm lying. You know, it's very easy also to lie. It's very easy to pretend you're happy. But if you see me, if you feel me, if you measure that I'm happy.
You are very alive. And you are mirroring my question in order, if I may think that you are pretending here in the studio. Yes, this is important, so you put yourself in a different position.
Of course it is important. I mean, like I told you, difficult is the path. We always come back to to square one.
To the roots.
Yes,
to the roots.
We need. Without this, there is no progression.
To the roots.
To the roots.
The space
yes.
of the roots.
To the roots. Yes.
Wow. Wow. I was thinking about why we are here in this studio. What's this? This phenomena of this moment. It is spontaneously. I never managed to feel and to see, to hear, to meet you. This happening spontaneously. We may say that we of course, we discuss about it, but I cannot control seeing you smiling. I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know my colleagues here who are working for us in order to.
I don't know myself what I'm going to say. You know,
okay.
I'm not ready of the question, but that's what is
Kacem,
interesting.
what is this? We are calling this life. Do you have a concept for?
Well, I don't have. I can't. To my point of view, from what I received from my own education, I can't conceptualize life.
It's
too big.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like God. For me, it goes beyond. It goes beyond what human brain, what intellectual can. That's and for me, it's huge.
I have to rephrase. Kacem, please, in this moment, show me God.
Well, you know what? It's not me who can do that. But I think when few people smile around, I mean, God must be around.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
That's really nice.
I see God. I see God.
Well, He's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's very aware, and He's also closer than us, than we are from us.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Yes. We are arriving here. Martial arts. I think the God, the roots, is in martial arts, isn't it?
I think, look, you can see this in different ways. If we focus just on in the Japanese classical martial art, or what we call Bujutsu, Budo, Heiho, there is a strong tendency among the primary school that the master fondator used to go in the temple and pray the kami in order to receive a certain kind of a special technique. So he practiced like a religious. But the problem is, religion is not for killing people. No matter what the religion, no matter what the spirituality is, it's not for killing people. Maybe killing the ego if you want or something like that, but not for killing people. But those masters try by finding the ultimate technique that sometimes we call gokui or ogi. And for this, they're going to practice in a religious way, but the technique they use, it's for killing people. And that's the cruel paradox. So then, through the journey, after blood, betray, many, let's say, dramatic things that we call life, things happen. Some can get rid of that and understood that there is another path, another way, something more pure, something more deep, and start to realize the weight of human life, the price of human life. Some of them become, let's say, great master, and they can teach and find another student, a disciple that they're going to shape for the next generation.
Yes.
Martial art, I mean, especially things like ninjutsu, and it is for killing. Don't get me wrong. As a scholar, I can tell you this: most of the chronicles talk about assassination, espionage, infiltration, exfiltration. It's the, let's say, the art of homicide by excellence. But at the same time, you know, you have to question things. When you are in the front of your enemy, there is a moment where you are in phase. Even if we hate each other, there is a moment where you are in phase. When we go in this kind of collision, we're going to be in phase. This moment, instant, it's like a harmony. Like I can hear you, I can feel you. And at that moment, according to the education, the study and the practice, I have a choice to kill you or to stop you. And this choice, this power, maybe you will be able to listen.
Yeah.
And on the road, maybe two enemies become two friends.
Two enemies become two friends. And we are in the last seconds of our program. Thank you again, Christian Leiber, for allowing this beautiful.
The pleasure
Thank
was
you
very much.
Kacem Zoughari.
It's my pleasure.
Few 10 seconds to in Japanese for our viewers. A word.
A word? Yes, there is a very nice word.
But only 10 seconds.
10 seconds? No problem. Manabu mono wa doryoku seyo, doryoku seyo. It's a last phrase you have in a scroll of martial art. People who study need to always make effort in the path of study.
Thank you again.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, Kacem. Thank you very much, Mate, for the invitation.